Welcome back to On the Move with Victor Shi. This is Victor Shi. It is Monday, May 15th, and we are getting increasingly close to defaulting on our debt limit, which would be nothing short of disastrous for our economy. Currently, there are discussions between senior members of the Biden administration and House Republicans, but make no mistake, we are in this situation because instead of offering a plan that would benefit American families, Republicans are offering a plan that would do things like slash veterans' benefits, President Biden's student loan forgiveness program, and more. And remember, this is coming from the same party that increased our debt ceiling 3 times under President Trump's administration, but they refuse to do so now because they want to play politics and are completely comfortable with throwing our economy down the drain for their own political gain. Today, we're going to talk about what that means, their madness, and when it will ever end, if that even comes to happen, including what Republicans in D.C. are doing, but also across the country. And to do that, I am joined by someone who you probably know from her fierce and powerful voice on Twitter, and she is Lindy Li. Lindy is also a political strategist and political commentator. Lindy, it is so great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Victor, you're awesome. It's such a pleasure to be on with you. And talk about a fierce voice. You are absolutely incredible.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we have so much to talk about today, but I know a lot of people are talking about the possibility of default, and I think it's worth making it crystal clear that this is not because of President Biden, but because of House Republicans. Walk us through kind of where we are in that kind of negotiation process and how we kind of frame this for the American people.
I think the writing was on the wall way back in January when Kevin McCarthy, if you remember, had to conduct 15 votes to become speaker. So he essentially traded the full faith and credit of the United States for his speakership, for the gavel, because there are some extremists, actually many extremists in the sedition caucus, as I would like to call them, who care nothing for actually governing. They're there to be agent provocateurs, to be chaos agents, and to wreak as much havoc as possible. They don't care about Social Security. They don't care about stability in the financial markets. They don't care about our retirement savings. And you made a really good point. Under Trump, they raised the debt ceiling 3 times. Where was this energy then? Where was the sense of fiscal responsibility? It seems like fiscal responsibility is only a term that we hear when there's a Democratic president. But then when you have a Republican president, all that judiciousness, all that, grousing and wringing of the hands suddenly disappears. And one thing that I do want to emphasize is that they did this. They passed a $2 trillion tax giveaway for billionaires and corporations. We are paying for that. So this is on them. Yeah. It's their bill. And they're holding us hostage because they don't want to pay their bill, the one that they rang up.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And it doesn't take far to look what Republicans are willing to do to get what they want. I mean, I mentioned at the top that they would slash key programs. But, it seems like for me, I keep thinking that this Republican Party can't go lower than they do, but they keep going lower. And I'm wondering what you think their kind of end goal is with all of this, kind of maintaining power in the House. Where are they kind of bringing our country to?
Well, I think we have to keep in mind that the debt ceiling isn't the only thing on the docket. We also have a possible government shutdown, which actually some Republicans consider to be less bad than a credit default. It's just they are lurching from crisis to crisis. I have a deja vu feelings from 2013 when Ted Cruz shut down the government because he didn't want Americans to have affordable health care. This is no way to govern the country. And they want to sow as much chaos as possible. They want to make life miserable under Biden so they can win in 2024. They are running for election right now in 2024. They are doing this. They are sowing the seeds of dissension, of chaos, of pandemonium to make the case for the Republican candidate as strong as possible by saying Biden can't govern, but we have to keep in mind that unemployment is at historic levels, the lowest in 50 years. Black unemployment is the lowest it's ever been since we've been keeping track. This is phenomenal. And what was it, like 235,000 jobs this previous month? It's just incredible, given the fact that we've had month after month of job gains and inflation is finally coming down. So Biden is doing everything he can in the face of the weaponization of government by Republicans.
And he's doing a remarkable job. I think today I read that gas prices are down 30% since this time last year. I mean, the economy is strong under President Biden, but somehow Republicans are still able to somehow, I mean, they still claim to be the party of the economy and the party of fiscal responsibility, but clearly they aren't. And I'm wondering, I mean, the perception that Americans have when they look at this debt ceiling fight is, they look at President Biden as the president and maybe they blame him. But I'm wondering how you can talk to people about kind of the state of our economy and getting Democrats to kind of reframe and retake, I guess, own the issue of the economy.
This goes to the fact that fundamentally Republicans serve billionaires and corporations and the ultra wealthy. We see that in every single aspect. We see that in the Supreme Court. We see that in Congress, where they refuse to raise the minimum wage to $15. $15 is not that much.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like it's like the least that we can do, and it's $7.25 here in Pennsylvania. That's frankly, for lack of a better word, that's pathetic.
Yeah,
that's subsistence wages. And so, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, God bless his soul, and I mean that like affectionately, he went through the entire GOP bill and realized I think 275 pages out of 300 or around there, those are dedicated to subsidies for the oil industry. So they are holding the middle class hostage in order to cater to big oil, ExxonMobil, Chevron. And so they are fundamentally serving their donors rather than the American people. The GOP is a fully owned subsidiary of corporations.
Yeah.
And I said what I said.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so true. And I know you also sound the alarm bells, not just on what's happening in DC, but also on every level of government. It seems like Republicans have just abandoned their basic sense of decency, their respect for our rights and democracy. Do you think this is just the beginning for this Republican Party? I mean, where are they? It's happening on such a sustained and kind of systemic level.
Can I be a nerd right now?
I
couldn't sleep last night, as I told you. So I finished this book, and it's extremely relevant.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, they did this before. They literally did this before in the age of McCarthy. I'm reading this book. I'm like, oh my God, this stuff is happening right now. They're calling Democrats socialists because they want to serve the middle class.
Yeah.
And so they're, crying communists everywhere, every single day with no evidence, just completely out of thin air. And so they're governing by fear in these chimeras and these red herrings rather than serving. There are so many problems. And they're not even focusing on them because they're so busy. As I like to say, Ted Cruz, for instance, has a podcast. He spends so much time hosting his podcast rather than moonlighting as a senator.
Yeah.
So instead of serving the country, all of them are social media stars. That's what they're focused on. They're focused on their likes and their retweets and their social media currency rather than inflation, rather than jobs, rather than education. The fact that 19 kids were slaughtered at Uvalde, the fact that we can't go to Walmart without fearing for our lives, the fact that we can't go to church without, getting our heads blown off. They don't care. In fact, they want it because it drives up gun sales, which in turn drives up the profits of the gun industry, which in turn drives up the donations that they receive from the gun industry. It's symbiosis here.
I mean, it's terrifying. And I guess even more terrifying is that you still have, 30% of the country that still believes in this. And I guess it begs the question of what is the Republican base at this point? I mean, who are the people who are supporting these types of policies? Because, I mean, things like getting rid of abortion rights, things like getting rid of student loan debts, not taking action on gun reform, those are things that are vastly popular with the most of, I guess, the American people. But you still have Republicans who end up supporting these politicians. And who are these people?
I frankly, at this point, I was just thinking the other day, the fact when people cheered as Trump, the people in the audience cheered as he smeared E. Jean Carroll.
It was
disgusting. They cheered as he attacked Caitlin Collins as a nasty person. And remember, he used that phrase before, 7 years ago, he called Hillary Clinton a nasty woman. And his supporters cheered as he mocked a disabled reporter. So it really just indicates to me that his supporters are just as bad, if not worse than him. Yeah. They're the ones enabling this. They call themselves Christian. I'm Christian. I wear this. I'm Christian. I'm speaking as a Christian, and I'm mortified. It makes me not want to participate in organized religion because they've desecrated everything it means to have faith. That's not what Christianity is. And it also blows my mind. People have accused Republicans of being many things, but rarely are they accused of intelligence.
Yeah.
They know that abortion is a winning issue for Democrats. They keep doubling down on their extremist, heinous abortion bans. They just keep doing it. It's just a gift. They just keep handing it up to us. They just never learn.
I mean, do you think there's any way to engage with their side anymore? I mean, you mentioned, I mean, they call themselves Christian, but they also don't really believe in the traditional Christian values. I mean, how do we reach that side, or do you think it's kind of long gone, given how much they kind of are in that Trump cult and that right-wing ecosystem?
I think there's hope. I really do think so. I mean, I have loved ones who lean conservative, and I got them to vote for Biden. And they just, because they're so disgusted by Trump's behavior.
Yeah.
And at some point it's just a bridge too far. You're throwing away our country because you want to sate your appetite for bigotry, which is essentially what it is. Trump gives them license to be as hateful and as bigoted as possible, and it's unbelievable. And Victor, you're of Asian American descent like me, and it's horrifying. I'm sure you get really just disgusting replies on social media, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the cesspool of humanity on Twitter.
Right. It's so awful, bad for mental health. I hope you take some time to just, take care of yourself, and self-care. I'm sorry, I'm not here to be your therapist, but it's just really hard. I know it's really hard on you because it's hard on me. And it's really hard. The Chinese Communist Party actually killed my great-grandfather, but I had people calling me a communist every day. And it's just like, I don't even want to explain because I don't want to sink to their level, but it's just so inconceivable to me.
And it's, I mean, I'm grateful that we have a president who actually doesn't hurl around anti-Asian rhetoric and actually cares about our lives. And I know you've recently been traveling to DC for API Heritage Month, and I want to ask about that because it is API Heritage Month, and there's so much going on this month. You've been a great voice and a trailblazer for our community. Tell us about kind of maybe a little bit about your journey into politics and what this month means to you.
Well, I was actually just talking about, it's been hard. It's been really hard because not only am I Chinese American, I'm also a woman. So I get hit twice. And I was young back in the day when I was the youngest woman to run for Congress. And I have no other way of putting it other than to say it broke me. And there are repercussions that I'm feeling literally to this day, to this morning. The fact that I couldn't sleep, the fact that I have a little bit of anxiety, I'm working on it. And it's just because I went into politics thinking that sorry for being like discursive, but like Sandy Hook happened on December 14th, my birthday. So it became my mission to end gun violence. That's why I ran for Congress. It was very direct. It was A, cause B. And then as soon as I came into politics, I was deluged by all this hate and bigotry. I was just completely caught off guard. But putting all of the negativity aside, the fact that I'm still here says something, right? The fact that they couldn't knock me down. But going back to your point, Victor, you said something really interesting, how Biden would never be spewing this hatred. He had a movie showing at the White House, Chinese Born American. The event was called Chinese Born American, something that would never have happened in the Trump White House. I was so proud. There was popcorn labeled Chinese Born American. The hatred that you and I experience on a daily basis sometimes makes me, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth, it makes me hate myself. It makes me question everything. Like, I love this country so much, but they don't love me back, which is essentially, I don't know if you feel that way, but that's often how I feel. And it's just been something that I've struggled with my entire life. The fact that Biden did that is just incredible. And I have the honor of seeing him regularly. And one time I told him, thank you for making me feel like an American. He said, of course, you're the best of us. Thank you for choosing us. And I was nearly in tears. When he said that. It was just so incredible. It was everything.
I mean, that is so special. That is so just heartwarming. And like you said, I mean, it does feel like so much, especially with our current political environment, but kind of us and our community and all of us not ever forgetting our joy and still, like you said, finding that balance is so important, even during these hard times. And you are doing such a great job of showing us how to do that and also how to push back against these bullies. So thank you for your voice and thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you. I just want to say that you inspired me. I also, in addition to be quite eloquent, your tweets are some of the most well-researched, most articulate, most passionately stated I've ever come across. I can see that you pour your heart into them. And I don't think I've ever said that about anybody's tweets. I guess,
Lindy,
I mean that.
Well, right back at you. That means a lot, and I think all of us have a platform. All of us have a role to play, and I'm inspired by your tweets as well. So thank you for all that you do.
I look forward to hosting you on the
Thank
East
you, Lindy.
Coast.
Yes, look forward to that day too. Thank you, Lindy.
Take care, Victor. Thank you so
Yep,
much.
of course. Bye. Well, Lindy is such a powerful and important voice, and I hope you all get a chance to check her out on Twitter. She is just one of the, like I said, just most powerful voices on Twitter. She is able to frame things in such an effective way, and you can see just with her tweets. I mean, she frames things in, I think, in the best way. So go follow Lindy Li on Twitter. I know we'll be seeing a lot from her, but there's a lot more to talk about this week. We have some exciting guests for you every day this week, I guess, except Thursday, but basically Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have some exciting guests, so don't miss them. Just a few things I want to get to before the end of the morning, and before I let you all go. Like I said, this month is API Heritage Month, and so there is a lot to talk about. But I especially want to kind of just acknowledge the fact that tomorrow there's a very, very special election with the first ever Asian American woman who could be elected as the mayor of Philadelphia. So if you know someone who's in Philadelphia, if you are in Philadelphia, if you know any family members, friends who are in Philadelphia, and any college students, tell them to go vote tomorrow for Helen Jim, who is going to be running for the mayor of Philadelphia. She is a powerhouse. Yesterday, she did this rally with Bernie Sanders and AOC. There were thousands of people in the audience, and it was just such a wonderful and heartwarming scenes to kind of see so many people turn out just for a mayoral rally. I mean, that was just one of the most incredible things I've seen on the local level. People are energized, people are rallied up, and I think it's going to be a great day for Helen Kim tomorrow. Go check that race out. She needs all of our support. If you can volunteer, I know she has a website. Go check out her website, but she could make history tomorrow as the first Asian American woman elected as the mayor of Philadelphia, and I'm sending her my support. I tweeted that crowd size yesterday. I mean, it was really, you should go watch that. You could feel the energy through the video, and for a mayoral election, that's truly, I think, unprecedented. So check her out. She's got a big day tomorrow, and I know this week's going to be big, so don't miss this week. We have tomorrow, I'll be joined by Judy Woodruff from PBS to talk about the media landscape. I know we have a lot to talk about regarding the CNN town hall last week and what the role of the press is going forward. So don't miss that. That will be tomorrow. And we have some exciting guests later in the week. On Friday, we have Decoding Fox News. We'll talk about how we kind of go about Fox News and talking about Fox News and what Fox News is trying to get us to believe in, and how we can kind of go about that. So that's going to be an exciting episode. And then on Wednesday, we have John Fugelsang, the comedian and just such a great political commentator, to talk about all things politics and the Republican Party. And I know we're going to talk about a little about religion, which isn't right up my alley, but I know he has a lot to talk about, and how Republicans are weaponizing religion in America. So don't miss that. Again, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on youtube.com/Politicon. Thank you all for tuning in this morning, and I will see you all tomorrow.